What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video. UFC 324 took place last night, and normally I don't even make recap videos, but Justin Gaethje, my favorite fighter in the UFC, one of my favorite fighters of all time, and look, I just had to come on here and talk about this fight that he had with Paddy Pimblett. One of the most entertaining fights, I've watched recently. Definitely, going to be up there with one of the fights of the year. First main event, of course, of 2026, but it's going to be hard to top that because this was a 5-round war. Both of these guys going back and forth. Most of the fight took place on the feet, which is what I predicted to happen. I did pick Justin Gaethje to win this fight. Originally, I was on Paddy Pimblett to defeat Justin Gaethje by submission. That was kind of the overall narrative that I was seeing from most people picking this fight. Paddy Pimblett, younger, grappling edge. Justin Gaethje took in a lot of, damage in his career, and he's getting older. But, I trusted in Justin Gaethje. I knew he was going to have a big-time striking advantage. I knew he was going to have a big-time cardio advantage. And I knew that his defensive grappling was going to hold up, and it did. He used the front headlock position quite well. He even got a body lock of his own, in the 4th and 5th round, and was able to, have advantageous moments in the clinch, landed a nice head kick off of it. Justin Gaethje's always had good head kicks in the clinch. Didn't use the calf kick as much as I expected him to, but I think he was just weary of the takedown threat from Paddy Pimblett. And Paddy Pimblett, didn't get any takedowns in this fight. You see right here, 0 takedowns. Justin Gaethje credited for 3 takedowns against Paddy Pimblett. So, nobody expected that to happen. I picked Justin Gaethje to win by round 5 TKO, and he won a decision, of course. I think that's a sharp pick and a very good prediction for this fight, considering he got multiple knockdowns. 2 knockdowns credited. He caught kicks, knocked him down, more of an off-balance knockdown. But, in that first round, I was feeling pretty good. Paddy Pimblett was doing good attacking the low kicks, but Justin Gaethje started checking them right away. I knew that wasn't going to be a big factor in terms of offense for Paddy Pimblett. I knew Justin Gaethje, 1, was going to be tough enough to go through that, and 2, he was going to start addressing them, and he's going to start checking the kicks. And at the end of the day, man, I'm just super happy that Justin Gaethje won this fight. Like I said, favorite fighter, one of my favorite fighters of all time. And, he's always counted out. He's the underdog a lot of the times in his fights. And I'm just super happy to see him win this. I did not want to see him kind of get sacrificed to the young, up-and-coming hype train, and for him to, get choked out and retire in a sad manner. And one of my favorite memories of watching MMA, and one of the reasons Justin Gaethje is my favorite fighter, his fight versus Tony, absolute war, just absolute chaos and violence the entire time. That's also one of my favorite fights ever. And, he was counted out going into that fight. He took that fight on short notice, and he got the interim title. And, it's really good to see him get the interim title 6 years later. It's crazy. Justin Gaethje's longevity, absolute legend of the game, one of the best lightweights to ever do it, for sure. I don't want to hear shit about old school fucking champions. Justin Gaethje is better than most of the undisputed lightweight champions in UFC history. Like, the only lightweights I'd put above Justin Gaethje would be Islam, Khabib, and Dustin Poirier. I think he's above everybody else on the all-time list in terms of lightweight GOAT status, and he's 1-1 with Dustin Poirier. Dustin has a little bit more in terms of volume and quantity in his resume, but Justin Gaethje, one of the most underrated fighters of all time. People always say that he's sloppy, he's just a brawler, but literally ever since the Tony Ferguson fight, he has been very calculated, very technical. He's a fighter that you can learn from. Good defense, good head movement, shot selection's great. Justin Gaethje, excellent performance. They call him the highlight for a reason. He always has a war. And, this fight is just a testament to that. Absolute scrap. Loved this fight. Excellent fight to start off the year for Paramount. And, yeah, excellent performance from Justin Gaethje. I cashed on him as a plus 200 dog, and, awesome win from Justin Gaethje. We're not even going to talk about him versus Topuria. That's not even going to be funny. Topuria, too good, too quick, too clean, too nasty, too powerful. Topuria would win that fight in round one. I honestly, look, I'm a big Justin Gaethje fan, and I honestly hope that he tears his ACL in training camp or something and can't fight Ilia Topuria, has to retire, and then Topuria versus Arman Tsarukyan for the undisputed title is the fight that we get next. That's the best case scenario, because I don't want to see Justin Gaethje get slimed out and have to retire after getting colded from Ilia. So yeah, gotta love Justin Gaethje. Awesome fucking fight. Paddy Pimblett, warrior, and he showed up. He showed up to fight. He did not have any quit in him whatsoever, even though he was chiefing the Nick, hitting the Summer Dream. The Summer Dream, lad. Hitting the fucking Nick stick, the Summer Dream vape. Even though he was hitting the vape on fight week, cardio held up. Tough as nails. Scousers don't get knocked out. Huge respect to Paddy Pimblett. He's going to have a great future in the division, but I'm super happy Justin Gaethje won this fight. I'll quickly recap the rest of the card as well. Sean O'Malley versus Song Yudong. I picked Sean O'Malley by decision. This was a pretty good card in terms of my predictions as well. Sean O'Malley by decision. I kind of had this one, to a T as well. Total strikes, very, very close. I think Sean landed, some really good twos. He landed a nice spinning back kick to the body early in round one. He had that nice knee, which was a big swing in the third round. And this was a close fight, kind of controversial. Some people thought that it was a robbery. I gave 1 and 3 to Sean. I liked the straight shots in round one. The spinning back kick to the body was big. The front kicks up the middle were big. That's a damaging shot, even though a lot of the times it doesn't really seem like it. Round two definitely went to Song. Got 2 takedowns. Landed the better shots. Had some nice tight left hooks. But Sean looked good. Especially in round 3, really, showed championship form in the third round, was able to pull away. And I felt like it could have been a split decision after the fight, but I was pretty confident that it was going to be Sean O'Malley getting the scorecards, especially considering the UFC market machine bias towards Sean O'Malley. I was a little bit worried that they were going to try to rob Justin, but Justin clearly won 4-1. But this was a very close fight. I'm very happy that Sean O'Malley was able to get the job done. Good to see him back in the win column. Looking forward to him versus Umar, Peter Yan in the future. I think he loses both of those fights. I wasn't overly impressed with this performance, but Song Yudong's tough as nails. Sean O'Malley, did what he needed to do, and he's still right there. Him versus Peter, him versus Umar, those are going to be very high level, very entertaining bantamweight fights, but Umar probably subs him for real. Next fight on the card, Waldo Cortez Acosta versus Derek Lewis. Kind of just took place how I figured it would. I picked Waldo Cortez Acosta by decision, and that's kind of how it seemed this fight was going to go. Waldo was just leg kicking a little bit, jabbing up. Derek Lewis landed some body shots at range, staying safe, not taking risk. That's how I figured he'd approach this fight. Derek Lewis trying to land big bombs. He was fucking around throwing that switch kick, but he was just too slow. And I don't know if he got injured or what happened in the finishing sequence, but Derek Lewis went down, and Waldo Cortez Acosta followed up with ground and pound. Derek Lewis couldn't get up. I don't know if he was gassed. I don't know if he hurt his knee. I don't know if it was the right hand before that hurt him, but, classic Derek Lewis. He had a fuck it moment. And that was all she wrote for that fight. No need to even talk about that. Gene Silva versus Arnold Allen. Very good fight. Gene Silva displayed some offensive grappling late in the fight, and that helped him swing the cards in his favor. He was landing the more damaging shots in rounds 2 and 3 as well, and he just kind of outdogged Arnold Allen. That's what I picked. I picked John Silva by TKO in this fight, but he got the decision. Arnold Allen, tough as nails. John Silva was landing some vicious shots. He just marches forward with reckless abandonment. The, physicality from John Silva was huge in this fight. He was a little more aggressive. And, this is a fight that just kind of displays a very technical fighter in Arnold Allen who Has very good volume, southpaw stance, good counters, but he just kind of got out autism and out aggressioned by John Silva. John Silva was marching forward, didn't take a step back. He was getting hit with some big shots, but just marched through it, didn't even acknowledge the damage coming back in his direction, and was able to get the job done. Mixed in some good high kicks, some good elbows, the uppercuts, right hand to the body was nasty. And yeah, Gene Silva, I think Arnold Allen definitely, had a good performance here, but Gene Silva, I still think he is championship caliber in this division. I don't know how he does against a Lerone Murphy or a Movzar or a Volk, but he definitely has a very, very high ceiling in this division, and he probably touches gold at some point in his career. Great fight, though, and when he jumped off of Arnold Allen's back at the end of it, that was crazy. I'm like, bro, you're fucking nuts. Umar versus Davidson, not much to talk about here. Very lackluster fight. Umar dominated easy, 30-27, like I, predicted. Umar didn't do anything to stand out in this fight. The kicking was on point. Nice teeps to the body, nice head kicks, very, very fast kicking arsenal from Umar. One of the best bantamweights in the world. He's right up there with Merab, Peter, Suga Sean O'Malley. Takedowns were obviously on point. Beautiful body lock to an outside trip that he got in the second round, I believe it was. Jabbed up Davidson. Davidson didn't really come to fight, though. He threw a couple of big right hands, but kind of washed, kind of slow, stuck in the mud. Pulled guillotines where he was never going to get it. Umar just kind of cruised to a victory. And, I don't think he gets the next title shot. I think him versus O'Malley is the fight next. I think him versus O'Malley. I think Peter versus Merab on the same card. I think that's what you want to do in the bantamweight division. But yeah, Umar looked great as always. Ateba Gautier got extended. Looked human, ate a bunch of body kicks, ate some left hands. Showed good durability and cardio for the most part. Pulayev, tried to be crafty, defensively sound, stayed on the back foot pretty well, but, got dropped multiple times. How many knockdowns did Ateba get? Two knockdowns. I think he might have got one knockdown where he kind of just hit him in the body, and then Pulayev fell just from the impact. It wasn't actually him getting hit on the chin. But Ateba, big power, but the footwork needs improvement. Shot selection needs improvement. Every time Pulayev would circle off to the right, Ateba was just unable to head off the cage. Ateba's a freak athlete. He has huge power, and his shot selection's good. Like, he doesn't rush and gas himself out. He stays patient, but, a Baisengur Susurkayev is an interesting matchup. A Robocop, a Kopylov. These types of fights are going to be issues for him. So when he fights ranked opponents, he's going to take a loss soon. If we keep getting these types of odds where he's minus 1,000, eventually I think you're going to get a matchup where you can get a good plus money fade on Ateba, but still impressive. Got outstruck on the numbers, but his power is just still different. Nikita Krylov crafted it up, displayed good kicking from the outside, mixed in the grappling a little bit, got a knockout at the end of the fight with that right hand, and, kind of turned back the clock, had a much better performance than he did in his last two fights. Still ran into some counter shots, but Modestas Bukauskas doesn't have the power of a Guskov or a Reyes, wasn't able to get the knockout with the shots that he did land, and Nikita Krylov back in the win column. And Bukauskas, who knows where he goes from here, maybe a Navajo Sterling type of matchup for him next. I'm not sure, but he's just going to continue to be a gatekeeper for the lower echelon of the light heavyweight division. But Nikita Krylov looked good, but I still think he's going to probably continue to get knocked out in fights where he fights power punchers. I think if he fights Jan Blachowicz, which is a good fight to make, I think Jan can win that one. Alex Perez stains Charles Johnson. Charles Johnson, I don't know, man. He looked like a string bean out there. He just could not take a shot. Alex Perez landed a few good hooks. Charles Johnson hit the deck, was flopping on the deck like a fish, and Perez finished him up pretty easy. Perez has always had good boxing, kind of looked similar to the Mateus Nicolau fight. And, yeah, good to see Alex Perez back in the win column. He said it was the last fight on his contract, so that definitely saved his UFC career. I think he'll end up fighting Loner Kavanaughs, guys like this on the come up. But Alex Perez still crafting it up, still getting wins in the flyweight division. And, you know, he's a good fighter. Always slides under the radar, but he came through in this one. And it was a great knockout as well. The way he blocked the kick to the body and then followed up with that left hook was pretty impressive. Early prelims, Josh Hokett, awesome post-fight speech, easily destroyed. Denzel Freeman overwhelmed him in round 1, which was exactly what I said was going to happen. Gotta love Josh Hokett. His post-fight speeches are absolutely incredible. He's super entertaining. Reminds me of like a Cain Velasquez in the heavyweight division. And Ty Miller, great boxing, just like he had in the Dana White Contender Series, knocked out Adam Fugit. So how did I do on picks? I picked Ty Miller by TKO, picked Josh Hokett by TKO. I picked Charles Johnson, got that one wrong. Picked Modestas Bukauskas, got that one wrong. But other than that, I swept the card on picks. So yeah, Modestas Bukauskas, Charles Johnson, got those 2 wrong. Other than that, great card for picks, great cards for entertainment. And yeah, if you guys enjoyed the video, thank you guys for watching all the way through. But I had to come on here mainly to talk about the main event. Super happy my boy Justin Gaethje got the job done. But yeah, UFC 325 picks coming out today or tomorrow. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like, subscribe, leave a comment if you have anything to say about my takes, and have a great rest of your day.